All right, here we go. Yeah. Oh, I need to switch over the chat to be the Dash Incubator chat. There we go. Let's turn down the volume just a touch. And then, wait, where did our... Oh, there it is. Hold on. Hold on. Hold the phone. Okay, so this problem really annoys me. And I don't know if it's a GPU problem, meaning that the power's maxed out for some reason. It seems like it is. That's what it shows up as. Okay, let's move this over here. Move this over here, move that over there. Yada yada blah. Alright. Is this the right thing? Users delete me. Oh no, that was for something else. Okay, let me find the right window. So the good news is that offline, I did finish up with the thing from the last session, the function that's calculating from a different perspective, calculating from the perspective of trying to figure out how many stamps can be used and if that will eliminate change. So can we produce more stamps and eliminate change? And then if not, then only at that point produce change. So that function's done. I'm happy with it. The last thing that we need to do is to be able to send to a single address without change, which is a two-step process, because we're going to have to do the send. Well, we're going to have to... If we can't make change for that one address, or if we have to make change for that one address, this is particularly bad. Because in our current scenario, where we're doing xpub to xpub payments, when we're doing xpub to xpub payments, if you receive change, it's actually not that bad, because the xpub, there's an xpub spread, right? So getting change back is an additional marker, but it's not really much more of a marker than just putting one more coin in somewhere else. I mean, you know, in the ideal scenario, in the non-ideal scenario, it's more of a marker. But when we're only sending to one address, then you're going to see a bunch of coins go into that one address. But then if we're sending change back, you're going to see the change go back to other addresses. So you're going to know that those other addresses are actually related. And that's what we need to work through, because it should not be immediately obvious what things are related, what addresses are related. So if we need to send to a single address, we need to do change before that. Now, with that in mind, yes, you're going to be able to tell that change was just made and then part of that change was used for something else. However, there is a little bit of a buffer there. It's not entirely certain that the previous change is actually related. It could be that the coins that were just received that are going to be used, they could have been part of a multi-person payment. So it adds a little bit of ambiguity, whereas in the other direction, there's really no ambiguity. So yeah. So send to single address. We need to fix that problem now. And yeah, that's what we're working on. So I need to open this back up again. And then let's see here. Camera settings, ISO is set at 800. Can we knock that down to 640 or so? That looks a little bit better. Not so bright. And apparently, sports feed, sports score. I'm looking Apple Watch, Bluetooth, voice over navigation, screen time settings. Okay, there's no reason for me to upgrade to the newest Mac OS. It doesn't look like there are any security updates in this. This looks like it's all updates to features I don't use. So we can hold off on... Not that I was going to do that in the middle of the stream, but the thing had popped up. Okay, so... leftovers are change. Right. And if not allow change, then we're going to put that out. Got it. All right, so I don't know if I actually did the transaction. Let me check and see here. I need to test for that over there. No, I don't need to test for that. I'm looking for something. Oh, I'm going to just open up a new window then. Okay, projects, dash tools, dash wallet. Okay. So I need to actually be able to make this payment. I've got Dash that's been sitting around for several weeks that needs to go. And I'm taking a look at that right now on my other screen. Okay, good. Oh, good. Yes, 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 yes. That's what I need. All right, sweet. Right, sorry, I was just looking at some payments and stuff. There's some payments I gotta make. There's some stuff that's got to go out. It'd be really great if I could get more of this to go somewhere sooner rather than later. Okay, yeah. So the real money that I have that really needs to be sent is set up perfectly for this use case, and I was just looking for that. All right, so there needs to be a way. So right now I have this set up as a prototype stub for multi-payee transactions. So I want to get that in for real. I would like to get it so that Ryan could use this. Ryan, when you watch this, if we could talk about that. I mean, if it's not helpful for you, then it's not helpful for you. It looks like you already have something that's kind of doing this. But if we could get, can we get Dash Incubator over to XPub payments? I would be so happy to, just put my one XPub as my reference, as my payment address for tasks. And would it be helpful to you if we could just take basically a CSV of contact name and payment amount and then have those payments go out? Because this has got the stub for it, and then we just need the use case to actually do it. But we also need to make this so that the payment can be made. So basically, I'm going to turn this from pay. I'm going to call this pay contact, and we're going to need some sort of send to contact. You know, I love this. I'm just turning this up a little. You might hear some echo. Now that forced donation stuff is gone because that didn't end up working out. So this restriction that we can't donate money to the network, I think that that's a restriction that is not at the protocol level. So at some point I'd like to figure that one out again. All right, so we're going to have, there is not going to be a pay. We're going to have send to contact, and we're going to have send to address. And then where is the xpub handled here? So we've got a handle. Payee handle. Get next, change addresses is in here somewhere. Oh, there's so much stuff that I'll look forward to cleaning up. I haven't been cleaning up. I would be cleaning up as I go, except that I still don't know what the solution is to all this stuff. I mean, I think now this part's done. So we're at the last of it. Okay, and that, I'm not going to get rid of that just yet because I think we still may need to use that. Where was the you know, get next addresses? Let's take a look at the number. Let's go by the numbers here. So that's befriend. No. And then, yeah, let's get rid of that. And is it this one? Okay, this looks right. Denominate, no. Send to contact. And then next. 942. 1065. Yes, so this looks about right. So one thing that we need to do here with get next pay adders is we need to make sure that this fails, that it should succeed on an xpub. And it should fail if the count is greater than 1, but a string that doesn't resolve to an xpub is given. So let's go fix that. By the way, how's it going, chat? What are y'all up to today? Okay, so next pay adders. Get next pay adders, get next pay adders. Okay. Count is equal to 1. I don't think that should be optional, actually. Ha! Yeah, you are in the right place. So, you found out when Evo. What did you think? How did you like it? Was that a good 16 hours for you? Okay, why is it being given wallets? Find pay wallets. Evo is imminent. All right. Well, I was hoping we would beat them, but maybe we won't. Regardless, the good work will continue. Okay. Next wallet adders. X key. Paywallet.xpub. Dang it. I'm gonna kick myself over not having TPub support and all this. You have to go back and add that. But not yet. Alright. What is the first thing Incubator will work on when platform releases? What do you get when you mix an elephant with a rhino? I'm not, that's not my thing. It's not my thing. I don't believe in it. I want to solve problems that I believe that we have. And I want to work towards a system that is more cache-like. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in a Rube Goldberg machine for Edward Snowden. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in just catastrophic waste of resources. I am morally opposed to it. If someone can figure out a use case for it and I end up being wrong, then great. All right, so what was I going to do here? Where do I need... Okay, so if... Okay, maybe this is not the right place for this. Okay. What's this? Let's go to get next loose adders. Should probably have a handle. Okay. I don't think I want to allow reuse. All right, let's go look back over here and see what my options are. So get next pay adders. We should definitely be able to put an xpub in here as the handle. That I feel pretty strongly about. Right now. Maybe not forever. We'll see. Get next pay adders. So that's not, if there's an incubator, I am not going to choose to pick up incubator tasks for Evo unless I believe that there's great value in it. Right? I'm not. So there's a limited amount of time, and there's two ways that things are going to go. Dash is going to be regulated out of existence or forcefully shut down, or it's going to have a future that's useful. My livelihood depends on Dash having a future. So I personally am not interested in participating in something that I think is going to lead towards Dash not having a future, because that affects my livelihood. Do you understand? So if it's something where I believe that, because I'm more invested now in Dash than I was before. Before it was like, okay, please, 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 just, get some of this done for me. I want to get you introduced to this. I don't want to say begging. Ryan was kind of begging me to join in on this. Okay, after a year, I saw what's going on, what's happening where, and there's a lot of risk here. I mean, there is a really strong risk that at any moment, Dash could just be entirely shut down by government regulation. Because there's no Dash economy at present, and we already had a major bank shut down I forget which one it was. But one of the major banks that you could export out of Dash into US dollars was shut down, right? So right now I have no option to keep circulating Dash. So Dash is not valuable in of itself. Dash has no economy. It has no real value. It's just funny money at this point, right? So we have to get an economy that actually is a functioning economy. And the only thing that I can see right now, and I believe there's something else that could be out there. The only thing I can see is online services working for that. And then if we lose the ability for me to go from Dash to US dollars, then I can't pay my rent. I can't not rent, mortgage. I can't pay my mortgage. I can't buy groceries with that. We are too decentralized. I agree, except that there are so many bad ideas that if we were centralized, we would be guaranteed almost only bad ideas. But there could be some good ideas out there, and the good ideas are going to come from innovative thinking. And I may not be on the right track, but if Dash is going to survive, it needs something that the market needs, not something that a crypto nerd dreams of. It needs something that the market needs. And right now, the market doesn't need Dash. The only reason that market needs Dash is so that people who are laundering money can diversify into things that have nothing to do with what they're doing, so that they don't get caught. Right? That is the purpose of pretty much all of the good cryptocurrencies at this point is they're just a funnel for people who are laundering money to invest in so that they can have losses to show that they're investing and not that they're just funneling money from one place to another through some sort of pyramid scheme like what they're really doing. Because if you can show significant losses, you can say, well, obviously we're not running a scam because we're losing money, right? That is, and I could be way off base on that, but and show me that's not the case. Show me that there is real interest in people using Dash as money, as digital cash. It's not there yet. And it's not there yet because we don't, well, one, because the market may never exist. But right now, it's not in a usable state. Dash Direct is really, really great. And at the same time, it's a horrible failure. It's one of the best things we've got going for us. It is the Dash Direct, and that sort of thing is the shining hope. Distributing some junk data across 4,000 servers, that is not the hope for Dash. Unless somebody proves me wrong. And as I get older, I'm wrong more and more often. I had a lot better feel, the essence, the just sniffing the wind. I was a lot better at that 10 years ago than I am now. But I just don't see it. I just can't see how anybody is going to want to store junk data across 4,000 servers and that being a profitable economy. I just can't. And junk data is, of course, let's not say junk data. Small pieces of data across 4,000 servers. I don't see the market for it. I don't know who the target audience is. Anyway. Well, we depend on banks for Dash Direct. Yes, but you always have to have a stepping stone. You have to have a way to get from where you are to where you want to be. And Dash Direct is not a bad stepping stone. Dash Direct is, in fact, a great stepping stone because it's so you want to have the bridge, and you want to basically have a retractable bridge. You want to make it easy to onboard people and get them on the island. Dash Direct gets people on the island, and you could almost oh, that's me. You can almost live off of Dash Direct. So that is huge. Even though it all goes to USD, it's not really an economy. There's some potential there. It's got some wisdom in it. And I'm a big believer in Dash Direct. I wish that Dash Direct were a bit better, but I think that a lot of the other tooling has to get better for Dash Direct to get better. All right, so I was going to do this, get next pay adders, yes, and then I was going to, what did I need to do the wallets for here? Hold on, let me get back to this. So I need to look at the wallets, so pay wallets, and then I need to figure out if there is a pay wallet. And then if there's not a pay wallet, okay. So this, find pay wallets. So what I need to do right here is we basically need to say, if, and then, we kind of need to have a list here. So we need 4 characters. Let prefix equals handle, and we also need length. I forget what an xpub length is. Let me pop out Dash HD. You gotta, so, sorry. Maya integration will handle your dash to fiat concerns, buddy. No. Well, okay, yes. But that doesn't help us with an economy. If the only thing you want to do with Dash is get out of it, then the only thing it's useful for is for losing money for people that need to lose money in order to carry out the other things that they want to do. So we're relying on people, we're relying on the rich robbing from the poor and scamming them in order to fund our ability to move the money out back. You know, it's just like, that's not a functional economy. That's not going to work. Oh, whoops. What is it? RM? You do dash D CLI. Right. Okay. It is an alternative ramp, but I still think it puts us in the wrong place, because Dash is competing against the dollar, the euro, the pound, the yen. That is what Dash competes against. And so whatever, people that are crypto nerds that want my integration, great. I was pulled into it by the language. Cryptocurrency nerds. I'm a crypto nerd. I'm not a cryptocurrency nerd. Well, I'm not even quite a crypto nerd, but I believe in cryptography and hashing algorithms and the like as a moral good in the world. Okay, so Mwah. Ah. $112. Is that right? Well, let me double check on that. I think it's that could be right. It could be 113. Could be 112. 111. Okay, that was counting the new line character. That's okay. 111. I didn't think it was 112. Okay. 111. So there's supposed to only be two prefixes, xpub and tpub. In reality, I'm not sure if it works out that way. Because there's already other mechanisms that define... Through other means, you should already know whether the intended target is a dash address or whatever. So there's no need to be putting special characters in the xpub prefix. It should just be xpub for all coins, and I know some coins don't do this, but it should be xpub for all coins, except for testnet should be tpub. Those should be the only two styles, because the communication that happens on either side of the xpub lets you know what it's for. So if I'm using the dash app, it's obviously for dash. If I get a dash URL, then it's for dash. If I don't have a dash URL, there should be a type parameter. And I think that we actually should put a type parameter in the spec for this, because the way that the URLs need to be constructed now is that we need to have the xpub, an address as a fallback, and some other stuff. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think this very day. Yeah. Nah, I shouldn't. Not that I shouldn't, but that's. I don't know if that's what I really believe, and I don't know if it's what's really best. What I was going to say is all this platform nonsense is a sunk cost. Just let it sink, and let's focus on things that are important that make Dash Cash and help it succeed in the market. And by the market, I mean the market of international currencies, like Euro and that sort of thing, in that market, and in the online market. Okay, so if... What is it? Oh, what do we call these? I kind of want to say that a handle must begin with an @ sign. Except for maybe a special handle. I kind of want something similar to this. How it... big part of platform is the username system. This will be needed. People don't like these huge payout addresses. But we don't need that. It's so as far as usernames go, it's a Rube Goldberg machine, right? Platform doesn't exist, and I can still have usernames in Venmo, and I can still have usernames in my iPhone. I can still have usernames in my email. You know, how do I have usernames if platform doesn't exist? I mean, that's a little satirical, but, or not satirical, but, let me walk that back. Sorry, that was a little, demeaning. And I don't need to be that way. My apologies, I was wrong. I think there's an issue between the marketing and the reality. Why would we need platform for usernames? Why could we have not had usernames 5 years ago? Why can we not have usernames in the current app that already exists? Because I think that there's some really false assumptions going on. What does a username come from? What does it mean? What does it mean to pay to a username? Right? So take the case of Venmo, which I think is the closest thing to digital cash that exists today. Right? Now, before Venmo was taken over by PayPal, and then they, decided that they needed to make a profit and they needed to have lock-in. How did Venmo work? You either put in someone's phone number or their email address. Right? Or you scan the QR code. Why would we not just do that? Because you're communicating with the person. So you have to think, what's the avenue of access? Why do I want to buy from this person? Or why do I want to send money to this person? Is it because I have a relationship with them? Or is it because they have a product or service that I want? So if I want to add them as a contact, the idea is that, well, I probably want to pay them many, many times, right? Because if I don't want to add them as a contact, I just scan the QR code. So we just need to make it easier to scan the QR code. If I want to have a relationship with them, I just scan the QR code. And they put their preferred name in the QR code. And then when my software interprets it, it says, hey, this person would prefer to be called John. Do you want to call them John? Safe. This is the way that all contact lists work right now, right? V cards, all that stuff. All that stuff works on this principle is I can suggest what I think my name ought to be. You receive it, and then you decide, yes, I want that person to be by that name, or no, I want to be by a different name. Yeah, my kids will put me in as Dad, right? Lots of people will have a dad contact, but it means different things to different people. But it's a combination of things you use username. Like what? What is the economy? Data querying, data storage of what? What data? What data do you need to pay excessively to store across 4,000 servers? I mean, I can't think of any data. I don't know what data. I mean, you want to store the Bible across 4,000 servers? So in case there's a book burning, it's still around? What are you going to store on 4,000 servers? What? And if people wanted to store something on 4,000 servers, well, why doesn't AWS give me that option? Why doesn't Google give me that option? Why do they only give me an option of having 3 copies of my data? How come S3 only has, well, I mean, I guess if you consider there's potentially a RAID layer as well, but CephFS, which is that and things akin to it, or what all the cloud services use, there's 3 copies of the data. So you can have a rack go down, you can have a server go down, you can have a drive go down in any combination. Well, you can have 2 of them go down in any combination and have no data loss. So you have 2 full racks go down and have no data loss. Not decentralized. What do you mean it's not decentralized? Yeah, I just described a decentralized situation. I said Amazon, I said Google. That's decentralized. There's no central authority. It goes through the DNS system, which has no central authority. Anybody can join the DNS system. You can pick from any number of arbitrary organizations that you wish. You can pick any arbitrary server systems that you wish. Anybody can add a server to the system at any time. Like, that is the definition of decentralized. Having a closed loop of 4,000 servers that cannot act independently, that is not decentralized. Well, Amazon could shut it down, but Amazon can't shut down Google. So if I've got 1 server on Google and 1 server on Amazon, Amazon can't shut down Google. Now, I believe that big tech, I think that there is something overarching that is in control of big tech in general. So I would say that in practice, even though in theory they're decentralized, I would say that in practice, yes, I agree that there is some overarching control. But I can start up a server right from my home too, so it's decentralized. The internet is decentralized. The DNS system is decentralized. I can store things in multiple places, and we certainly could make masternodes decentralized. And I think that we should, and I hope that we will. But as they stand presently, they are not decentralized. Because there is a single authority that is a hive mind, that they all behave the same. There is no independent operation, and platform does not solve that. It strengthens that. Because realistically, I should just pay for the some arbitrary number of servers that I want to store data on. I should just pay for storing the data on those servers. And if my software, pings out for that data and realizes that it's missing from one server, then it would just pay another server to store that data. That would make a lot of sense. Okay, let me get this. So, get next contact pay adders, get next xpub pay adders, and then this is going to be an xpub. I think I'm going to call it xpub like this. I've got X key. I don't really want to do X key, although that's what I'm doing down here. There is some way that I need to be able to do a reverse lookup. Okay, it's lowercase when it's a property. What am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? Okay, that one's always lowercase then. That makes sense. Actually, I agree with that. Yeah, Google can shut down Google, but Google can't shut down Amazon. If you want a decentralized system, unfortunately, you have to decentralize, right? The only way to have a decentralized system is to make the choice to decentralize. You can't put all of your eggs in one basket and say, I've decentralized my eggs. If they're in the same basket, they're not decentralized. So the only system that I know of for decentralization on the internet today is DNS. That is the system that works as intended, as it was designed in the 80s or 90s or whatever it was. It might have been designed before then and just not implemented until the 90s. I'm not sure. But that's the system that we can rely on. That's the system where you can choose the authority that you trust the whole way up and down the chain. You can choose the standard internet authorities. You can choose a custom name server. There's just so many different ways that you can decentralize it from top to bottom. It's politically decentralized. It's corporately decentralized. It's technically decentralized. It is decentralized in every possible way imaginable, such that you can make a choice at any point and have a system that can't be shut down by others. I say masternodes are not decentralized because they're not. Where's the decentralization? It's a group, it's a hive mind group. There is no independent work among the masternodes. I think we could have decentralized masternodes. We could have a platform in which some masternodes run some services, some masternodes run other services, that they can work independently, that they could set fees independently, and that collectively they are available and they know about each other, but that there is choice both from the perspective of the masternode owner and choice from the perspective of the consumer as to what services to use from which nodes. And it would be a meritocracy. The nodes that provide the best value, that have the highest uptime, that process requests the quickest, whatever, would be the nodes that people wanted to support the most. And then there would be backup nodes. And then, you might use a new node for your backup, but a new node would just have to charge less for its services, because a new node you can't trust to be around. So, well, I guess it depends, because there could be, you might need really fast processing, and there might be a new node that's only been around for 24 hours. But if it can process jobs really, really quickly, and then you can process jobs more slowly and verify that the job is correct, then you might say, hey, this seems like a pretty good node to use. It's at a good price. It's got faster times. I don't need the reliability of knowing that it's been around forever and that it's going to be around forever. I just need to know that it's around long enough to get my job done. And so you would choose to use that the most efficient masternode you could for jobs that needed quick processing. And for jobs that needed reliability, you would choose the nodes that have the highest reliability. And there could even be some sort of incentive structure where if a node needs to go down, that it, has some other nodes signed as, if I'm down, these nodes can take my payments to do my work in the time that I'm down. And, a combination of the weight of that, nodes electing other nodes to say, I know this node to be reliable, and I, as a node that you trust, I trust this node, therefore you should trust this node, and then you'd have a true decentralized system that is a meritocracy, where the trust is built based on reliable outputs. Not one person owns all masternodes. What does that matter? If you elect to join a hive mind, you are no different from one person. If you can't have independent thought or function, then what's the definition of a person? There's different DNA behind the person that flips the light switch on? Like, think about that. Why would that matter? Why do I care what DNA flips a light switch? There has to be independent will. If the light switches all flip on at the same time and all flip off at the same time, and there's no independent will, there is no person, there is no individual. There is just a hive mind. So because the nodes only validate transactions, they're not decentralized, that doesn't make sense. Of course it does. There's a network, right? You don't pay to a masternode, you pay a network fee. And then the network fee just gets distributed indiscriminately across all of the nodes on the network that, either master nodes or minor nodes, right? So you're paying a fee that's just being put out there regardless of the merit that's put in. So that would not be decentralized. If it were decentralized, then I could pay a fee to nodes that I trust more. If there's, think about it like Walmart, right? If, like, having a shopping system where you have, actually, there's a video I did on this. I'm going to reference the video I did on this. The video was called Blockchains Are Not Decentralized. And I give here really good definitions of the difference between, let's see if, I'm going to give you this link. All right. So you have distributed and centralized, or distributed and concentrated, decentralized and centralized. So centralized and decentralized have to do with authority in particular, and distributed versus concentrated has to do with things like location. So let's see if I can just fast forward here to a part of this. All right, so yeah, I'll let you check this out if you want to. Well, obviously, if you want to, you're in control of you. You're not part of a hive mind that does what I say. So Maya, I think Maya may fit into the category of decentralized. I'm not sure. I don't know the technical details well enough to say. But I believe that you can independently operate Maya nodes. The Maya nodes that do the work get the benefit of the work, and a few of the other criteria. But you can be a kind of think of it of hub and spoke systems. You can have a distributed system that's completely centralized. So the system, the components of the system are distributed, but the system itself is centralized. So that would be like Walmart or like Dash. You can have something that is centralized and concentrated. That would be like, I can't remember what the example I gave off the top of my head. You have something that's distributed and decentralized. That would be like email. That would be the best example of it would be DNS and email, and they go hand in hand. The reason email is decentralized is because DNS is decentralized. And then you have something like You can have decentralized but concentrated, and that I don't remember what the examples were on this. But you need to be both distributed and decentralized in order to have a scalable system that is resilient. Yeah, but I don't know what you mean by control of the network. It's a hive mind. So it's not decentralized in control of the network. It's a hive mind. I think there's a lot of terms that have been abused in order to make people believe certain things about certain technologies, but if you stick with the definition of the thing, it is what it is. Okay, index pay adders. So I don't know if we're actually going to have this. It looks like we're going to need it, though. And we need the offset. So let's see here. Index pay adders. Can I do this without giving the wallet a name? I don't know if I can right now. Like the Patriot Act. There's nothing patriotic about stripping people of their constitutional rights and doing unwarranted search and seizure and imprisonment, right? It doesn't matter what you name the thing. It matters what it does. And if it does the opposite of what it's named, that doesn't change the definition of the thing that has the name. All right, so wallet name. I see there's a problem here. I don't know if I can fix that right now. Okay, wallet.generate address. But I need a way to generate an address that doesn't have a wallet name. Can I do that? I'm pretty sure this is just doing a return on the wallet. Can I have a null? Is that allowable? I think what I need to do is take some representation. This is tricksy. I'm going to do something that I'm going to regret. X key. All right, do I just give it the name of xpubs? So this is only used for caching purposes. It's not used for any other purpose. So I think this is going to be okay. All right, so I'm going to take this away. And where I'm calling this, this is going to be a special value. Because it shouldn't matter what this is given. Well, yeah, that's often the case when I speak with decentralization about people, because a lot of people anchor their definition of decentralization to blockchain rather than to the definition of decentralization. So if you anchor your definition to decentralization, the problem that presents is that then you have to reconsider a lot of your other beliefs about technologies that are decentralized. Because I think I go in that video, I think I pull out the definition of decentralized, right? I could be mistaken. But so I really like, I'm going to hang on to what a word means for 10 years after the average person who didn't know what it was before it became popularized in some context, you know, because words are important, right? If we call it meat, it's muscle that comes from an animal. That's meat, right? If you start growing beans and soy and you call it meat and you market it as meat, it's not meat. It's meaty. It's meaty. There's a lot of things that are meaty that aren't meat. And I think eggs are kind of in a gray zone. Eggs are not meat, but eggs, they're meat, right? They're pretty much meat. But you could make the same argument for, you know, soy and other bean mixtures. You could say, well, it's pretty much meat. But egg is egg. Egg is not actually, it's not meat. But it's meaty. It's very, very meaty. And, but if a bunch of people get together and they just start calling vegetables meat, that doesn't make it meat. Meat is still its own distinct thing, regardless of what a group of people get together. You know, if for the purpose of fooling others and taking advantage of them, you call something by the wrong name, yes, it has happened time and time again in history that those people eventually win, and the definition of a word gets reversed to mean the opposite. Like terrific and terrible and awful and awesome, right? So, but I'm going to hold out as long as I can that the word decentralized, which has a very, very important meaning that has been described in the dictionary for, I don't know, hundreds of years, you know, with pretty much the same definition, to just try to change the definition to mean nearly the opposite, I'm not going to buy into that. I think that it's intellectually dishonest. And what do we call decentralized then? What's the new word? I don't know what the new word is for decentralized. What do I call it? Do I say traditionally decentralized or decentralized as per the dictionary? You know, we have to be able to use words and count on them to mean the same thing from one day to the next day. And just because somebody wants to get the upper hand on someone else and rename something to fool them into believing something that isn't true, I think that's a very bad reason to just go along with it. All right, so that's going to be saved. We're going to get this. We're going to get that. That's going to be saved. All this looks good. Okay, so my question then becomes, is there anything different about these two anymore? Well, we don't need a wallets. Do we need wallets here? Why would we need wallets? We only need wallets for pay wallet, right? So we're going to take the most recent wallet. And then I guess we could just change this to be wallet name. Well, Dash can be shut down. It was shut down for 16 hours. And it certainly can be shut down in the sense that all that needs to happen is a little bit of government regulation and Dash is gone. And you can certainly block the IP addresses, right? So any government could shut Dash down. All of the IP addresses are publicly listed. And this is another one of the vulnerabilities of Dash that I really think needs to change. And it makes me very, very sad that the IP system is centralized. The DNS system is decentralized. So to build the technology on a centralized system where there are individual private owners and you cannot make any choice or change, I think that's a terribly poor choice to have gone with IP addresses. Now, allowing IP addresses, allowing them, I don't think that is inherently bad. But requiring IP addresses to be the form of broadcast, I think is an absolutely terrible idea. The default form of broadcast should be domain names, because those, if your ISP shuts you down, then you can just switch to something else. And then you can have more than one domain name. The IP system is politically and corporately centralized. But the DNS system is politically and corporately decentralized. So, for example, you can have a .com, which has pretty darn good political resilience. You could also get a .ws, which has even greater political resilience, if I recall correctly. And then you could also get like a .dev, which is very, 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 very little political resilience, almost none. Probably none. So you could choose a multitude of DNS names and say, these are my 3 DNS names. And it's highly unlikely that with politically decentralized access to DNS names, they're all going to be shut down. And then if your ISP shuts you down and you have to switch ISPs, which is typically not easy, but if you needed to do that, then you can update your records and your IP address can point somewhere else. So that would be that would be pretty much the perfect system, as perfect as it can get. But when it's all just IP addresses, it's really easy to just shut down IP addresses, and the list is public. So it's not like you have to do any work to get the IP addresses. I mean, you just open up -core and you get the list. Now, the same would be true with domain names, but the difference with domain names is that there's not a central authority that you can force the thing to be shut down. And there are ways to get around that. The U.S. government can kind of enforce ISPs. Like it's like what happened with Mega, right? That might have actually been cross-government cooperation, but there is a way, if I remember correctly, for the U.S. government to basically shut down a domain name But it's not as easy as shutting down an IP address. An IP address is super easy to shut down. And a domain name, you can shut down the IP address attached to the domain name, but you can attach a different address to the domain name. And because you have 120 different political origins from the government perspective, plus then you have the corporate origins, which have their own politics. So you literally have well over 100 different political origins for a domain name. So you can choose one that aligns with your values in a way that is extremely censorship resistant, whereas you cannot do that with an IP address. So the thing about the SEC calling it a security, there was some nuance to that. And it was in reference to something else. I thought, maybe I'm misinformed, but if they want to shut it down, they'll shut it down. Just like there was just a post in the chat earlier about how it got shut down in France. Dash trading can't be used in France anymore. They're going to shut down 4,000 IP addresses. Well, what is it? Like 2/3 of the master nodes come out of one IP block, right? It's because it's what is it? Binance or Coinbase, or I don't remember what it is, but like most of the network. So here's the other thing. You think it's decentralized, right? Well, it's totally not, because over 50% of the network is owned by one entity. So there's that. Wait, where was wallet name? And I could be wrong. I might very well be wrong. My understanding is that over 50% of the network is owned by a single entity. That becomes less of a problem if we develop an economy. Because if there's an economy, then there's a reason to compete. There's a reason for people to join. If we get to the point of a meritocracy, then whoever can provide the best services will be the most valuable. Let's see. Next wallet address. So I think we're good with all this. I think all of this actually didn't change. Anyway, my point is that as long as Dash is centralized, it's easy to shut down. And the way to decentralize it is going to be, I believe, by creating an economy. And the masternode system is going to have to change for some sort of platform. Let's see, why is this not working for me? Why is that griping at me? Okay, this needs to stay here. Okay. What? Why are we losing frames? Where's Outcast? All right, here's what you need to do. You need to go to JoJo and you need to bug him and say, when Outcast. Anyway, okay, so at the end of the day, the resiliency of the hive mind is not what's important. Because the hive mind has no value without an economy, without market demand. And if it's regulated out of existence, it doesn't matter how technically superior it is. Do you get what I'm saying? So, reality, okay. The IP thing, not that big of a deal. I wish it were domain names. I would like it to be truly decentralized. Whatever. The technical thing is not what matters most. What matters most is that there is a market for it. And there cannot be a market for it if it's regulated out of existence. Okay, should this be awaited? Yeah, that should be at await. I mean, if you're considered to be a bad person if you use it, that makes it tough. Okay, so why did I need the wallets for this thing? Pay wallet 0. Okay, so we only have one place where that's that way. No, not just the coins. You have to have a way to get in and out. So economies at the so think of it like a country, right? I say dash nation. So you have to have imports and exports. And your economy is essentially how much you can export. Because whatever you can export, you can demand in your currency. If you can demand it in your currency, then that increases the value of your currency. So that's why I think that it needs to be internet services. I think that there needs to be a platform, but I think it needs to be one that's merit-based, because that's what's going to yield a functioning economy, right? So if there are two servers and one processes twice as fast as the other, and they're the same price, I'm going to pick the one that processes twice as fast. So there has to be some reason to compete. There has to be some reason that masternode owners would want to get rewarded more. So if there's some sort of technological advancement in server technology, we want them to want to adopt it. If there's some technological advancement in masternode software, we want them to adopt it. So the masternode software would have to be better. It would have to be more performant. It would have to have more functionality. There would have to be some reason that someone wants to use those masternodes that have it to generate it. So we have to be able to generate something that no one else is generating. And I think that there are a ton of those things in essentially the private cloud space. The only viable alternative, so for example, email. This is the only viable email that I've found for an individual or a family. I have searched over the course of the last year, several hours here and there. And Purely Mail is the best that I can find, and it's dirt ugly, and my wife would never use it on her own. It is very, and it even gets some of its security stuff slightly wrong. So It doesn't have per account CNAMEs for the DKIM records and some of that, which I guess technically it's not required, but it seems like the kind of thing that you would kind of want. So I'm kind of a little. I mean, it's there's some things like that where it's like, okay, well, it's not necessarily wrong. It's just not best practice, maybe. But purely mail is basically your only option if you want privately owned email. So email is something that we still all need, and there isn't any alternative to it. All of the alternatives to email are proprietary, your Facebook Messenger, etc., etc. So I personally think that email and domain names are a good route to go, because those are things that we would want decentralized. And if you have 4,000 servers that can operate independently at that level, because obviously we don't want 4,000 servers storing the same DNS records. That just seems redonkulous. But, say you, because they're independently operated and there's no contract agreement, whatever, instead of having 4 name servers, you pick 8 or something like that. I think that the incentives could align, that things like email and domain hosting, some degree of web hosting on the Masternode network could work out really, really well. And I think that the correct way to go about it would be very similar to the way that other cloud services go about it, which is eventual consistency. The benefits that you do get from some form of a blockchain, if we can call it that, for digital cash, are not the same as what you want for a web service. It's a different set of needs. And having it across 4,000 servers just doesn't make sense. But yeah, there's and then you put them in competition with each other, and then reliability. Do you want reliability? Do you want speed? You have different factors along which it doesn't have to be a winner versus a loser. You can have lots of categories, almost infinite number of categories along which people could win. Email is a very resilient protocol. So 99.999% uptime isn't necessary for email. It's actually okay if an email server goes down for 5 minutes a day, or if it goes down for pretty much a whole day. I mean, obviously, if you needed an email instantly, that wouldn't be good for you. But reliability, or rather not reliability, but uptime reliability is not something that is essential for email. It's something that is really, really desirable, but it's not absolutely essential. It's not mission critical, depending on what it is, right? But that's what I'm saying, where there's a metric where just being really, really cheap could be good enough. If you can't send an email right now, I mean, if you need something right now, that's a phone call, right? So there's something where, and I would have different emails for different purposes. If it's something where it's I need it delivered instantly because I need a 2-factor code, that's a different email address than for me to communicate with friends and family and people that I care about. So I think that there's something along these lines where there's a lot of stuff that, since the cloud has become popular, the economic incentives changed from servicing individuals to capturing individuals in order to create an enterprise structure for an investor to get return. So I think there's a lot of space in the internet, especially around families and small businesses, to be able to provide people with lower cost services that are more reliable long term. Also, the scale on this is really, really good. So Google shuts down products all the time because they fail, because Google's overheads costs are so high that Google can't maintain the product or service. When you have disinterested parties that only care about the money, then you can run a service indefinitely for one person as long as they're willing to pay for it. So I think that there's a lot in that space that could be really, really good and really competitive. All right, so this one. Interesting bit about JavaScript. There is no question mark operator. There is a question mark dot operator. The question mark and the dot are a single operator together. That took me a while to figure out. Okay, now I think this comes down to being... Now these two end up almost being identical. Okay, so now I can get rid of this, right? Was it this one? Or was it the next one? Okay, so... I think it's fair to say this actually can all go back now. Alright, solve the problem. I think I can do both of these actually. And maybe we'll call it wallet name. For now, anyway. So you want platform to roll out with internet service. What you call platform, I'm assuming, is what DCG is working on. When I say a platform, I mean like the word platform. Platform like platform as a service or hosting platform. When I say a platform, I mean generically I want a platform. I don't believe in what's being delivered or what's being called platform. I personally don't believe in that from what I've seen. I don't believe in it. I don't think that it's a path that can lead to success. Or rather, there's a lot of things that can lead to success if you do them and then undo them.
Do we have Mario Brothers game?
Yes.
Where is it? Thank you. It's driving me nuts. Perfect.
All right. Why can't platform be the platform? What do you think it does? What do you think its benefits are? How do you think that it's going to help? Do you understand that it is essentially just a replication system? That's all it's doing, is it's just replicating data across 4,000 servers. That's it. That is the thing. Oh, Junko. Okay, that makes sense. Hold on. How did I have this set up? Okay, index payouts. Okay, so this actually needs to come first. Let me readjust this. So this needs to come here. Alright, I get that now. I had to go back and forth on this one a little bit. Get next pay adders. Okay, so now I've got two places where this is being used. No, I need to just look at the ones that start with the underscore, because that is where it's actually used, and we don't need the wallets there. We need to... Hold on. We did that one. We're doing that one. We don't do this one. Okay, so that's all accounted for. So we either need to get it this way. If it was that easy, it wouldn't have taken 5 years to roll out. I don't think you understand the nature of software. I don't actually remember what a part was, if it was that easy. But just because something is difficult doesn't mean that it's good. You can get caught in a loop where you're working on something and you lose sight of the problem that you're trying to solve. This is the nature of software. And if you have to save face, if you don't have the ability to say, oops, I made a mistake and be forgiven, then you're going to continue down on that path to its ultimate conclusion, right? So somebody would need the freedom to know that the community loves and supports them, and that they can take 3 years to make a mistake and say, hey, we're 3 years in, seems like this was a bad idea. We don't actually know what we're doing anymore. We're going to abandon this. Right? But if there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of expectation and, people, so also there's many developers, I wouldn't say most, but I've encountered many developers who, when they're in the mode of solving a problem, they don't stop to wonder what the end result is going to be. And so the developer is actually perfectly content and happy to work on the problem within the confines and the scope of the problem, without necessarily questioning management or questioning, hey, what's the context of this? So there's also that. I don't know how Platform got to be in the place that it's in. I don't really know the history that well, but I know from what I have observed about it that is the problem that they're trying to solve simple? No. Do I think that they've solved the problem that they're trying to solve well? No. Do I see a path for them to get from where they are, if they release with the features as they are, to get to the problem they're trying to solve? I'm not sure. Maybe. Do I see them being able to take that to the point of solving a problem that people have? I really don't think so. What problem do you think exists that you think will be solved by Platform? And a lot of times, so I had a professor who was a consultant. His company was brought in to solve a document management problem. And they created this web-based system that could categorize and index and had lots of data entry and lots of form fields. And according to the conversation that they had with the upper levels of management and all of this, they spent years developing a system. And when they deployed it for a test run, this is a real story, when they deployed it for a test run, the user feedback from the employees of the company that actually needed to use the software to do their job came back as, this software sucks. We hate it. That came back up the chain, and the way that the agency managed it was to say, oh, well, this is just the beta version. We're just releasing this for feedback. In reality, it was pretty much the final product according to the specs. But they said this is just the beta version so that we could get feedback. So then, once that ice was broken, they were able to go in and get more information about how people actually worked rather than just what management had as a list of bullet points. And what they ended up doing was just getting a system that would take PDFs, extract the text from them, and index the text and make it so that it was easy to search. And the entire system was switched from being a web platform to being PDFs that could be uploaded and searched and tagged. And that solution only took them about 3 months to design and implement and deliver. So something that was taking multiple years turned out to be a completely bad idea once it was deployed. They told them that it was a beta. They created a completely new system from scratch in 3 months, and that was and that got rave reviews. So just because something is complicated doesn't mean it's good, and just because something is good doesn't mean it's going to take a long time. All right, so if I don't have the XPub there, hold on. Now, how do I handle the error on this? Or do I don't? I need to make a constant for this. Maybe we should do it all caps. I guess it doesn't matter what we do, because we're going to be able to rename it, and this isn't actually going to get used for anything. Meaning the name. The name just needs to be there because some wallets need an actual name, but not all of them. Because this one's cached only, so you'd only see it if you looked in the caches. It's not back referenced. Look at all the lines of code you're writing for single address payments. Yes. What about it? What story was... Oh, that story was clip-worthy. Thanks for that, Josh. Yes, please clip that. Okay. I recommend you speak with Quantum Explorer. I have spoken with him twice. And... I don't... He believes what he believes, and I believe what I believe. And I can respect him as a human being without respecting the direction of Dash Platform. So I asked him questions, and he was not able to articulate an answer that I could understand. And that is when I became great. That's when I went from tepid about, I don't know about this platform thing, it seems like it's overly complicated and I don't know what problem it's solving, to feeling like, oh, I don't think anybody knows what problem this is solving. This is probably a really bad idea. Now, it could be that he's just bad at articulating it, but he's got the vision and there is something that's going to be released that it's useful for. That could be. I asked point blank, what do you see the use case of this? And he didn't. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't get an answer. Okay. So, and the single address payment stuff, I'm modifying existing code. So this code is really bad. I'm gonna let you know that right now. This code that I've been working on for Dash Wallet, it is bad code. The code that I was working on for the other things, Dash Keys, Dash HD, that's good code. There's some bad parts to it here or there, but that's good code. It's code I'm proud of. It's code that I would let serve as a general, yeah, take a look at this, and then, you know, but the dash phrase, dash HD, dash keys, but all of that was essentially, I was taking things that already existed and I was adapting them, re-implementing them, reorganizing them, providing a layering around them. They were all standards that previously existed. Dash Wallet is a creative work. Whereas I am working on it, I am discovering what works, what doesn't work, what hitches there are. I'm dog fooding it as I go, and my recommendation, unfortunately, is not that this be the code that go into production, but that rather we formalize the algorithms for this, put them into dips, and that we, as this goes into the web implementation, that I can, knowing what I've done wrong, there's some things where I know that I got it very wrong, and I just have patchwork over it to make it work better. I think that a lot of this should be re-implemented once it's finished and working, because we need to get to a point where we've used it for probably a couple of months before we decide, yes, this is the way that it should be. This is right. Because this is a lot of this is unexplored territory. Despite the fact that we've had the standard for XPubs for years, as far as I'm aware, no one has ever implemented XPubs other than in conjunction directly with a single account recovery phrase, except in Edge Wallet, where they do allow you to have multiple accounts from a single recovery phrase. But as far as I'm aware, XPubs have never been used as they were intended in the spec. XPubs have never been used in order to create enabled to be used for payments. I don't think that XPubs have ever been used to be used for payments before this. So all the legwork was done, but much like other things in the Bitcoin realm, if it was useful, if it was really good, if it was something that wasn't just fancy blah blah blah, but actually had a real practical use, it was abandoned. And so now Platform, as I understand it, will use XPubs correctly. Fingers crossed. I think that they will. I think that we need a couple of dips to standardize on some things before that all gets pushed, which is primarily that we need to make the mixing count the usage, because there's a field that's never used in XPubs, which is the usage field, because in the old addressing scheme, the usage field was for whether this is payment to someone else or receiving change back, which I still don't understand that part. That distinction doesn't seem useful. But because it's there, very lucky for us, and because it doesn't have any utility in the XPub spec, we could make a dip that improves upon it to say the usage will be the number of the number of transactions, or transaction already has meaning, the number of changing of hands of the coin. And that, I think, if we dip that and Platform implements, so let's say this, there are a few problems that Platform may solve that may be useful at the expense of all of the hoopla, which I think is, again, the scenario of the PDF document system. We don't need all the hoopla. We just need the PDF. We don't need all the hoopla. We just need the XPub and a way to transmit it back and forth. And there's lots of, like, pretty much all the legwork has been done, but nobody ever connected nobody ever just stitched the last couple of pieces together. Also in this is the whole denomination thing. So I probably shouldn't have tackled as many different problems as I did with this, but I didn't realize at the start the way that it was going to unfold. I have no interest in Ethereum. I don't really follow it. I definitely, I don't remember what you were saying. Do I think the same about? I don't know what the same was referring to, but I think that it's ridiculous to mix and match the idea of program code and the exchange of money, and because the world is not in the digital world. So people are trying to make video games that can take advantage of these coins, because that's the only space where that could actually be perfect from even the theoretical perspective. Because the moment that you cross the boundary to the analog world, there has to be what they call the oracle. The oracle has to be, you have to trust the oracle, and the oracle has to report to the blockchain that a thing happened. And so you need some number of oracles, and then you need to have decentralized oracles, which is never going to happen. But the oracle is basically something that watches somewhere else. So let's say shipping. The oracle watches the tracking address, which it couldn't realistically do because you can see that a package is shipped. That doesn't mean that what is in the package is what should be in the package. But let's just hypothetically, the oracle could be using an API to check the shipping number. So when the person who's making the purchase receives the shipping number and the oracle receives the shipping number, then the oracle activates part of the smart contract to say, okay, release funds, the item has been shipped. But in truth, you don't know until you receive the item whether or not it's the item that you intended to receive, and at that point you're back to trusting the seller, because if there is something wrong with the package that you receive, the oracle has no way of knowing that and can't verify it. And also the oracle can't verify whether you're a good or bad actor as a consumer, whether you are lying about the package not containing the thing that it should contain. So then you could say, well, I'm going to implement a system of, barcode scanning, but then if you're a bad actor on the consumer side, you could rip off the barcode. And if you're a bad actor on the sender side, you could put a barcode that doesn't represent what is in the package. So it's just all the way down. You still need to have an element of trust. So if the seller has a good reputation, then you risk your money with them. And if it's a small amount of money, $5, it's equivalent, it's not a big deal. But if it's a large amount of money, then it is a big deal, and you may want an actual third party to escrow for you, and you might be willing to pay that third party in order to act as insurance in case something goes wrong with the deal, or not but hence eBay, PayPal, etc. Because you actually want the escrow service. If you already trust the party and you don't need the escrow service, then cash is great. But if you need all of that tracking information and everything, then it's not great. Okay, so what we're going to say here is handle could not recognize no wallet or XPub associated with all right, so there we go. So this is actually before the single problem, the single address problem. This is the, let's make sure that handle can be something other than address. Now, there's one other thing that we could do here. And that is, if we're only requesting one, then a single address can be used. And this may not be the right way to go about it, but seed. I need dash keys. One of the best things about the dash keys library and the dash HD and all that is simply just spitting out the things. Just being able to say, yep, okay, this is the format. That's what it looks like. Yep, got it right. we needed this for BLS, and we started working on this for BLS. So this is apparently one of the problems that came up with the 16-hour downtime was something to do with BLS signatures. So Will and I and Ryan had actually discussed this problem, and we weren't sure what to do about it, and it kind of went by the wayside. But we were working on this BLS tool, and then this issue came up with the BLS library is being upgraded. And so one of the questions was, are the signatures going to be the same or different? But because we didn't know the amount of time it was going to take and some other factors, we decided not to go forward with it. So we got an initial version, and then we took the wait and see approach of like, oh, okay, well, the platform kids will figure it out. And when they tell us the stuff about the new signature, or we see it in the documentation, then we'll just go off of that since they're going to do the work either way. Now, if we had done that work, probably wouldn't have helped any because they may not have used our tools, or we may not have been done with them in time, or whatever. But it would have been good if it were a part of the process to have these tools. Having these tools in general, no matter whether you're for or against platform, you're for or against anything else, having these tools in general is a very, very good idea, because if something changes, you can take the input and you can check the output and you can say, did this meet my expectation? If you have to run the entire system in order to figure that out, it becomes very, very cumbersome to do simple tests like, hey, are these signatures matching the way that we expect? But if you can break it down into individual units, then it's pretty easy to say, hey, let's check these signatures and find out if they match what our expectations are. So, it's too bad that wasn't in place. But, let's see, dash keys, let's do generate. But it wasn't. $34, okay. There's multiple places where I have these referenced, but it's okay, actually. Alright, and then what is it griping at me about now? Something else I don't have in the right place. Probably down here, isn't it? Yeah, Elsie. All right. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate your willingness to deal with my pigheadedness. And I appreciate the conversation and the good times. So, peace out, David. Have a good one. Okay, it looks like this is literally just an array of addresses. There's no additional information here. So it looks like if all I do is just put handle into here. Alright, where did I screw up? I screwed up big time somewhere. That's it. Alright, so... Oh, this is a pain in the butt. I'm kind of hungry, too. My drink gone? Alright. My one drink is gone. But I'm going to stay salty. Just like you know that I will. Okay, this bit right here. We will probably need an index pay adder. Ah. Why does it sound like Little Mermaid? Pretty sure it's not Little Mermaid. Hey, it says right here what it is. Terraria? Okay. Okay. Interesting. I guess this makes sense. index pay adder. So only got that one use, but we're gonna duplicate that for get next pay adders for the underbar version here. Why is that not good enough? Next wallet address. Store save config. Next pay adders. Okay, but I need to get not this one. Where's that big Feldspach? Where'd that go? If not xpub. All right, that's going to work. Now, why am I doing that? Oh, because we need to figure out if that's been used. Okay, so this may actually not be complete, this function. We probably need more to this. Nope, okay. So the bit of work, this is too many functions deep. This so needs to be, well, yeah, before this goes into production, we can build our wallet tools on top of it, but we're gonna, hindsight is 20/20. So when you have the benefit of years of use of a thing, it's a lot easier to know what the right way to handle it is. When you are in the middle of building a thing that's new, it is much more difficult to know what the groupings and whatnot should be. I don't know. There's probably some people that are smarter than me that can get this right more often. The TDD folk seem to kind of assert, no pun intended, that they, have figured these things out by virtue of doing their testing. Then they know their test first. They know how things need to be grouped and separated, etc. But then you have to know what you're testing. Okay, update adder info now, stale time adder. And then we got the adder info here. So update adder info is really where it's at. It feels like there's too many layers of things here. It's just too complex. There's got to be a better way to pull this out into the. I think what will make this great, we'll go from crap to great, is distinguishing between what needs to be online and offline. Once the algorithms are implemented, once we actually know, okay, this is the way it needs to be, then piecing out online versus offline, I think, is what's going to make it good. Let's see. Adder info TX length. Oh, whoops. So it looks like index non-HD adder and index pay adder are going to be probably identical. I'd love to put them side by side and find out. Okay, take a look at this. And then take a look at this. What's different about the two? There's something different. One's slightly longer than the other. One has a return that the other doesn't have. More inputs. I think it's just the return information. Okay. So I ended up duplicating that. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. We could do it better. All right. So adders will handle. Okay, so that's our single address. Now we go update this over here. This is it's kind of a different problem though. So we want. Oh no! Problem with putting the drinking salts into the drink this way is that they're going to melt the ice. Seems like, wait, ice expands. So, actually this is kind of interesting. Why, if if it contracts when it melts, why would opening the lid cause liquid to come out of it? I don't know. Create suction, but the suction shouldn't be there, should it? Oh well. Alright, might be time to change the music. I'll let this one come to an end, and then we're going to switch back to classical. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so that was all legwork. So now we have a way to pass in a single address and get out something. So now we need the way to pay to the single address. And I think it might be best to just use a different function for this. Send to contact versus send to address. We probably need a send to contacts. Oh, just before my favorite. Okay, here we are. I don't know, maybe I don't need that. We also have another problem, which is sending the exact amount. That's not a problem that I have, so I'm not going to solve it right now, but it does need to be solved at some point. Maybe now is the right time for that, because it's single address and exact amount. All right, let's just start from the top and let's work through handle here. There's handle. 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 Handles. Agreed. The cyclomatic complexity is too high. I have to parse it to know for sure, but... Do I have an is adder over here? Oops. Okay, where did I just put the whatchamadoodle? Let's see. Do we have the key pairs parser in here? So I'm going to put isAddr here because it's not actually testing if it's an address, because the only way that I know how to do that, it has to be asynchronous, and that's not the kind of thing that we want for a quick yes/no check. So we could do the same thing again. And we could have an async, because this one is not... Oh, this one is async. Okay. Really, dash keys should have an isAddr. All right, so we got a wallet.isAddr. Actually, I think this is all right. This is an all right approach to this problem. Let's see. Oh, a little crazy there. What's that all about? Whoop. I wonder if this solves my problem. That might be good enough. All right, so if we're keeping with the paradigm, let's see. So, would it be better to just send a single value of the coin total to that address? Or would it be better to send the multiple coins? Obviously, you can tell the coins are related, but they're already pre-split. So if you wanted to do some mixing or whatever, they're already there for you. The question is this. If there are extra outputs, okay, here's the information that we're missing from this. For now, I think that I'm just going to allow change in this way and not require the splitting. I think I'm going to leave the splitting for later. Because the problem is we've got all the out values, but we can't tell what coins the out values came from, at least not easily. And so in order to eliminate the change, We'd have to denominate these ahead of time. Potentially. Well, I guess what we'd need to do... Let me think about this. Okay, I see where this breaks down. So, we got all out values. Allowing the change. Okay, so if it was just a single value, we know what its address like. I think actually I think this is okay. I think as it stands, I don't think it needs improvement to tend towards doing the right thing on average. All right, let's do a dry run. I'm going to get prepared to do a real transfer as well. Okay. Interesting. I kind of need some sort of facility to show unused addresses for a wallet. Well, I guess, I can just try this out and see how it goes. Okay, so first let's do the dry run here. Whoops. With the test wallet in its current state. So I'm going to do, let's take a look at our coins, give it a second to sync. All right, we've got 19 coins here. So let's say I want to get my next address. I'm going to do at, so let's contact at me test. So let's say then, we're going to do a send. Whoops. And this should fail. Alright, no wallet or XPub associated with this. Let me go fix that. That's line 905. Oh, what was that? Oh, no, nothing. Oh, whoops. So I'm only going to use 18 of my coins there versus... Come on, can I find a value that doesn't work? If I can't, then that's actually quite the testament to the selection algorithm. That's good. It's actually difficult. Alright, let's just make sure one that Must fail will fail. Come on. Yay! Good. It still can fail. Oh! What is this sanity fail? $12.31, huh? Let's see. Is this a random error? Not random error. Rounding error. What's going on here? That looks about right. How could this be? Alright, let's take a look at fee. Okay, which fee calculation is wrong here? What's this whole bit? So somehow some values went wrong here. All right, let's see what this... We can't have a fee of 123 anyway. So what happened? That seems like a reasonable fee. All right, where'd this go wrong? Dust stamps val. That's not a fee. So dust fee, dust stamps. So this is the fee that's required. Let's just take a look at that real quick. See if this smells right. Ooh. Oh, that doesn't look right. Fees.max. Well, that shouldn't be possible. Okay, so let's see what it says. This is what it says it requires. And this is what it says that it is. What if we look at the difference between what it requires and what it is? Because I think that 123 might come from there. So this is what it is. Oops. What it is versus what it requires. It's going to us 134. Okay, that number feels kind of familiar. So that's the difference of an input, maybe? Let's see what's the difference here. Okay, but that accounts for this. So somehow we got the fee wrong. Question is the fee wrong in the transaction? So this says total fee. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna skip this one. Okay. Total N. I think this needs to be washed too. Alright, so where am I gonna... Total sets in looks like it's right. That feels wrong. Houston, we've got a problem. Let's kick this can a little further down the road, though. Because I want to actually be able to see... Let's see the whole bit here. Oh, whoops. There we are. Now the music's showing back. Okay. Alright, so what is that fee based on? Two, three, four. 7 inputs, 4 outputs. It's a little confusing. Okay, so where is the fee getting messed up here? Okay, total fee. Oh, I didn't assert the minimum fee in here. Looks like it's that simple. Well, no, I should have. Output size. So header size, input size, output size. That should be the whole of it, right? Okay. So partial sats out is basically the whole of what we need here. Because we're not accounting for the change, maybe. Because if we have more change... Okay. Okay. Alright, total unforced sats. There we go. Ah. Wait, is that right? Extra stamps out is not a problem. Actually, I don't think this is the problem. Let me just comment that out real quick. Extra stamps out doesn't cost us anything. Okay, let's try this again. Alright, what's going on? What am I missing? Stamps out. So required fee initially is this, yeah. And that goes up to that. And that should match fees, yes. Okay. So how does initial fee come out to this? So where something's wrong. Total cents in. Total stamps out. Fee required fee. Stamps per coin. Where is this bug coming from? Alright, so there should still be quite a few left here. And we know what the required fee is. So that looks like that's 2 higher. How did the total number of outputs not change here? Let's take a look. Denominate to outputs. Oh. We might be off by a few stamps here, maybe? So, min stamps. Ah, I think I see where I went astray. Wasn't recalculating the initial 3 stamps. Oh, that looks good. would need a function to capture the wallet. Okay. So let's make sure the other ones still work. That one still works. That one still works. That one still works. That one still gives correct values. Okay, and that works. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's check and see that this decodes properly, and then I think I'm going to send it. Here goes 20 bucks. Let's see what it looks like. Interesting. I wonder what happens here. Am I only getting one output? Because I should be getting several outputs. Where can I look at the raw transaction? Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that even possible? Because it should be 499. So that should be 3. Oh, there it says show more. Okay, good. That's what I'm expecting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's how many I was expecting. Because it's 2 for the 4-digit, it's 3 for the 9-digit, 3 for the 9-digit. So that's 8 outputs. Looks right. Okay, now let's take a look over here. Let's list our coins and see what we got. Interesting. That doesn't look right. Because that couldn't have been left over if we were doing the 499. So let's do a sync. And then look at the coins. 8 coins, 499. I don't remember why this is printed out twice, but I think it was to account for discrepancies in the minimum and maximum that it could be interpreted as. And then the star is showing that this address is being reused. So what if we do this? So instead of sending, we're going to do @me test. Did I misspell it? Oh. Let me see if I can show contacts. Okay, but now if we look at the coins on this, the coins should be split back out. Yes. Okay, so I think I'll leave that there for now. But it looks like this worked. Now if I'm going to go for something a little higher stakes. Let's see. So I have to figure out how to do this. Then we'll take a break. And I'll go back to do some documentation refactoring, some code cleanup, delete the dead code, and then moving on to merchant payments at last. I'm checking out this here. Okay. Alright, what did I do before when I was sending just the coins? Let's go back quite a ways here. So I was getting an error about how I'm supposed to use this thing. You must each payout must be specified when paying to multiple addresses. Let me see where that's coming from.
Dinner.
Oh, wow. Already. Okay. I'll come. Alright, well, it is time for a break because it's dinner time. Oh, apparently my wife called me about this, but I just did not see it. Okay. Alright, well, I will have to figure this out. If not, payout .satoshis must be specified if payouts.length equals 1. Okay, probably something went wrong here. Alright, I gotta go for Din Din for the win-win. But thanks for tuning in. Catch you later. Adios. So pause that dramatic music here. Adios.